Anyway, thanks everybody for coming and celebrating.
Yes, thank you all for coming.
I suppose I have to do something about these.
Yeah.
Make a wish.
All 90 of them, blow them out.
Yeah.
Now this was, I had ROTC at MIT, and so I had signed on for what was then known as the Coast Artillery. That's all gone.
Yeah. Well, the cement's still there, isn't it? Aren't some of those forts still there?
I suppose I wouldn't be surprised. Some of the architecture's got to still be there. I can't imagine anybody trying to take that concrete apart.
I think the neighbors will complain. It's like Fort Casey up here. I think we saw some of that when we toured Boston Harbor in the 2004 convention.
Really?
Yeah.
So were you still at MIT during Pearl Harbor, when Pearl Harbor came?
Yeah. I was 41. I graduated 43.
Okay. So did you stay in school till 43?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ROTC student, so I got called out.
And were you in the Navy?
I turned out in the Air Force.
The old Army Air Corps? Yeah. And what did you do there? What did you do during the war, Daddy?
I got assigned to the Air Force's first Operations Analysis Section. This was a group that was supposed to bring analytical techniques to mission planning and so forth. It was a brand new idea. The British had done something like it, but it was new in our country. So this section was the first. So gave me a nice story to tell afterwards.
Is that like the strategic bombing survey and stuff like that, Sam?
It was before that. They hadn't
Before
really
that?
gotten around to thinking about it in those terms. And then, this was 5th Air Force, which was not a strategic bombing Air Force. It was more of a tactical apparatus. If you're looking for war stories, the outfit is absolutely staggering. They were the worst possible opposition you could encounter because they kept inventing everything. They kept rewriting the book over and over again. Weapons, tactics, and they wrote it all over.
Where were you stationed?
Well, we started in Brisbane and ended in Tokyo.
Oh.
So I got to see the whole tour.
What about the 20-page story that your father wrote?
Grandfather?
Your grandfather?
My grandfather, yeah.
Tell me about that. It's so fascinating. Do you still have it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we have it.
What does it say? It's hard to remember.
No, they were very much concerned that people should look on them with respect. I mean, they were determined that they should be considered welcome members of the community.
After the Civil War.
This was, they landed in Jonesboro before the war started. My grandfather was, his 5th or 6th child. He had siblings who were older who were there before the war began. So and they later moved first to Baltimore and then to Birmingham. They arrived in Birmingham when it was, because they had heard that the railroads, the North, South, and East, West railroads were going to cross in Birmingham. So they felt that as merchants that would be a good spot to be. It turned out they were right. So of course the whole area just boomed.
What the hell were we doing while my country was killing millions of people in all these wars? And is that kind of like what that letter was about? To say they wanted people to remember what their side of the story? Or?
No, he didn't have any intention except to record his experiences. It wasn't in service of any overall view. It was just it's a story of what it was like to be an immigrant family.
What era? Like 18s?
They landed in 1943, thereabouts, part of the great Western departure of the progressives from Germany.
Oh, I see.
Because the movement to a more democratic form, overthrow the regal system, failed. They were defeated, and many of the members moved west, figuring things had become hopeless. Some stayed and they went on fighting, but it was before the end of the 19th century before they succeeded.
Where was this from?
It was western, well, it was mostly Germany. It was eastern part of,
Prussia? The Prussian stuff.
not so much Prussia, but more central than that.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember all the details, but there was when Napoleon annexed all that territory, and the local kings and princes sought the support of the citizens to fight the Napoleonic army, and there was an agreement between them that the princes would relieve and ease up and provide more democratic procedures in the kingdom. But after the battles, they reneged on it. And then as I said, then there was some of the citizens gave up and moved west. Some of them just went underground and went on fighting.
Well, I'd be curious about how you ended up in Seattle after the war, and how you got your feelings to end up in Veterans for Peace, and if you were involved in other social action stuff.
Seattle for 2 reasons. One was Beth and Sue both had moved here. The other was we were both at a stage, and both Audrey and I had finished major stages in our work assignments. It was just the right time to move.
Was this in the 50s or?
No, it was late 1990s.
Oh, I see. Okay, so where did you spend most of your adult life? And you were on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Okay.
New York mostly.
Okay. So you're a relative newcomer here. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that.
1997.
So were you involved in social action or anti-war feelings, things?
We were part of the Vietnam War objections movement.
Yeah, that pretty much.
Have you been to the VFP meetings?
Say what?
Have you been going to the VFP meetings this year?
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up.
Well, you're doing better than me. I haven't been. Michelle's going to be writing down my name.
It's already done. They're already down.
But I always tell people in different groups, they say, "Oh, you should have been at the meeting. They called your name for the door prize. You lost $100. If you were there, you would have got it."
That's what I told Sam. We had a cake for him yesterday, but he didn't show up.
Oh, okay. Well, only 2 today.
I'm sure cake went to good use.
Yeah.
And that crew, I'm sure it was well received. It's really important for people to enjoy cake. I'm in favor of it.
Well,
That's a social movement in itself.
Yeah, right. Eat dessert first. Life is short.
Yeah, that's uncertain. My mom used to say that.
I can't hear you, so I'm going to put a mic here.
I'm not sure this is worth the effort.
You never know.
Okay, it's all figured out now. I'm sure. Yeah, it's on
We
automatic.
want to make sure, Sam, if you win the lottery next week, we want to be on record as being your best friends here.
You can count on it. I would be happy to split.
Some of them like me a lot, but a lot of them don't like me a lot. But that's different from your profile, because everybody likes you, Sam. So they do.
They're not.
that's funny.
Yeah, they don't know about the dark side.
Well, Sam, I've seen Sam stand up and
Grump a bit, yeah.
no, in a good way.
I don't know whether I'm advancing the cause in any way, since some people need to be beat around the ears before their minds can change. I don't do that very well. Yeah.
It's maybe wouldn't be a sign I would carry, or maybe it would be a sign I would carry. But the point is that an anti-war veteran or anyone who's anti-war has a right to express an opinion about war, and a strongly held opinion like that.
And especially in our organization, that's the
Absolutely.
whole point.
Right.
No, he wasn't committing violence with that song. You know, he was expressing a very heartfelt opinion. And, I remember that. It was about 2 years ago that it happened. I remember it quite well. It was one of my first, one of the first fights I got involved in this chapter when I moved back here.
And then all downhill since.
Yeah.
Well, I finally, I was really glad to fall in with this crew. I thought these are pretty strong characters, and if I pay attention, I'll learn something, and if I can help, that'll be great. So it was just right for me, all right.
I appreciate you're one of the more active members of the chapter actually, and I appreciate your stands and your thoughtfulness.
Well, I'm following your tracks as best I can.
So when did you get involved with the chapter, Sam?
It was in 1998, 2000 about. My wife Audrey and I, we were joined in the League of Women Voters, and at a parade for Martin Luther King one day, we were in the parade next door to a VFP group.
Oh, okay.
That's how I fell in with my band.
You're probably the only MIT graduate in the chapter, too, I would venture to guess.
Very likely, yeah, that's probably so.
Maybe the only one on the whole West Coast.
Well, I don't know about that, but they're an ordinary crew, you know, a lot of misfits, so there may be others.
So what would you tell the chapter if you could change the chapter, you know, like if you were God or something? What would you wish the chapter would be? Would it be different membership or different selection of vets or anything like that? Or?
I haven't got a clue.
Hard question. Huh?
I was supposed to know.
You want to answer that question?
Tom Burkhardt is another one who wrote gorgeous stuff.
He's a great guy. He's still out there.
Yeah.
He's still doing stuff. I don't know why
He won an award for citizenship or something 3 or 4 years ago, and the essay he wrote was on the web. It's one of the best pieces of writing I've run across in a long time. And there's another angle with MIT talk. There's an engineering component at work in a lot of this. When you think about the city, you have to have water. And I mean, somebody had to plan a water system, put it in place, and operate it. It's all engineering work. And someone has to build buildings. Someone has to plan the delivery of the materials and the construction and all the rest of it. So we're stuck with whatever system there is, whatever overall system there is, if anything wants to happen. And in order to rework it altogether, you have to change the whole system. And I've just run across recently Grace Lee Boggs from Detroit.
She's great, isn't she?
Yes,
She's older
she is.
than you are.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, she is.
What's the name again?
Boggs, Grace Lee Boggs.
Oh, yeah.
She's from part Chinese and
Yes, her parents.
She's married to James Boggs. She's
yeah.
still
I
pretty
heard her on Democracy Now! Or some of the programs. She's she's sharp and
yes, she is.
very bright, very intelligent.
An interesting story is she and James Boggs grew up in the Union movement, and the general idea, apparently she's written this up in her book, and the idea was to encourage the masses to rise up and take over the system and then rebuild it from the top down. And they came to the conclusion this was backwards. You had to begin developing everything from the bottom and not worry about turning over the system from on top.
Did you ever meet her?
No, but just read the book recently.
Well, she's featured in Yes magazine.
Yes, she's a regular contributor.
Yeah. So, yep.
The story about Detroit is interesting all by itself. It's a great story. The book is worth it too.
What's the title? Do you remember?
And The Next American Revolution.
Oh, okay. Grace Lee Boggs, Next American Revolution. I'll have to look.
That was James was a co-author on that too, wasn't he? So,
Her name is on the flyleaf. I think it was written after he passed away.
because they had a book in the 70s with a very close title that was either James
Yeah, they must have written a lot. They must have written a lot of stuff earlier.
So do you think we're cruising in for another war? They're always building another war. We have a war like every 15 years.
No, thank you, boss. I'll pass.
You're not working today.
No.
Yeah, more like every 15 months.
15 minutes. The endless war.
Yeah.
There's no end.
There's no end to it.